All right, Rick's Around the Morning Show. Hey, Jeff Johnson got 3 things you need to know. What up, Jeff?
What up, brother? How you feeling this morning?
Man, blessed and highly favored, man. God is good all the time. Just thankful to be alive, Jeff.
Indeed. And with that, man, even before I get started, listen, there's so much happening, man, and I'm really interested, especially for you to weigh in on your thoughts, man. I mean, there's heavy conversation about whether or not President Biden should stay in this race. I saw a piece by Van Jones talking about no matter what, we're going to ride with Kamala Harris. The Dems are in a really interesting place. And I don't know, man, we talk a lot sometimes about them seeming weak. And I don't know if that is the case that we're seeing now, but they've got a real challenge on how they decide to move forward when there are tons of calls for the president to step aside. There are issues where he's being called to have a formal evaluation. Like, where are y'all at on this?
Well,
go ahead, Kay.
Oh, go ahead. Here's my thing. It's easy to say that Biden needs to step out of the race, but the reality is that if he steps out of the race, he would also have to step out of the presidency, because how can you say that he's not able to run, but he's still able to do the job for the remainder of his term?
Well, yeah, he hasn't been labeled unfit, and so I think that's a good question, right? If there's some form of medical evaluation that rules him unfit, that's something different. So he could decide not to run and still still walk out his term, as long as he's not viewed medically or in some other form unfit to be president.
The issue that I have, Jeff, is democracy is on the line. And you're talking about we're not running against George W. Bush. We're running against Donald Trump, who was pulling this country into a dictatorship. And it's all on the line. And you're looking at 3 United States Supreme Court justices could possibly be in the next picks of the presidency. And, he's fragile. He's moving around. And I'm going to tell you, Americans just don't vote on the issues. When Bush versus Gore, the question was, who are you most likely to go out and have a beer with? You understand that right there? When you're looking at that, and you're looking at Trump attacking him in the debate, and President Biden not able to, to articulate or whatever, that stuff is important, and it ain't about how he, runs the country. It's just about him running,
it's the optics.
The optics in his campaign and selling himself to Americans. So, and if that was me, look how Ruth. I know it's not a good analogy, a good example, but Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she didn't step aside, and she died while she was in office, and her seat was filled by somebody that now you got a United States Supreme Court that is just freaking overturning everything. They won't even let Donald Trump.
And beyond that, Rick, I mean, I don't know if people think this is some sort of kind of myth, but Project 2025 is real.
Absolutely.
And if you're confused about that, this is about eliminating the Department of Education, using public funds for private religious schools, encouraging Christian, and we're already seeing that, dismantling civil rights, DI, we're seeing that, eliminating no-fault divorces. I mean, when you read the list of the policy positions that exist in Project 2025, you got to be clear about what you really want the future of this country to be. And if you think within Project 2025 there is some form of representation for black folks, I don't care what kind of black person you are.
Thank you.
Unless you are a Christian fundamentalist, it ain't talking to you. And so, I've always said I wasn't excited about Biden. I'm terrified by Project 2025.
Right.
And so this is the Democrats are going to have to make a real decision, because they've got to be united. I think they got to be united going into the convention, let alone coming out of the convention, because they don't have the strength and the momentum not to. And I'm just not sure how that happens, Kay. I've never seen anything like this before, and I don't think the country has either. And so for us to pretend like anything about this is normal and we should feel comfortable about it, we should not.
Right.
Hey, Jeff, can you, I know that people have been talking about that plan 2025. Can you speak to that? Because we need to talk about that a lot more because a lot of people don't know what's at stake.
So Project 2025 agenda is essentially an extension of not just Trump, but a section of the Republican Party that are very clear about what they want the country to look like, and that's not unusual. I mean, they are clear in saying that these are the priorities, and you can go to Project 2025. They're not hiding it.
Yeah, you can Google it.
Yeah, it's right there. So it is a political agenda that frames what they want the country to look like. They're very clear about what they want to do within the first 100 days of a Trump administration, and some of these things are on there. So, I mean, it is turning back the time on the country. And, this is not just bad for people of color. I just think it's bad for anybody who loves not just democracy, but liberty and freedom. And for a party that talks so clearly about states' rights and the federal government not interfering in the rights of states, this is a direct interference in so many areas of life. And so there's a real clear piece here that this isn't even the traditional GOP. This is a new regime that is calling into place dictatorship. And I think sometimes, and Kay, I think you will agree with me here, we act like this is far-fetched.
Right.
But it's not. And here, what's crazy is you had France and England where the Labor Party and the left destroyed the right. And so you've got these real interesting political shifts happening in other parts of the world, but we got this insanity. And so, we're going to talk more about this, and I want to make sure that on Friday I want to go a little bit deeper into the process of what happens and how this piece is selected. So we'll talk more about that. I appreciate y'all letting me on the other side. And before I get out of here, I just want to say a big shout-out to Madonna Jackson. You took care of me at the Dallas airport. I appreciate you, celebrate you. You're doing an amazing job. Y'all, love you.
Absolutely.
Talk to you on Friday. On Thursday.
Absolutely, y'all. I appreciate you, Jeff.